Kính thưa quý vị bác sĩ, trước khi bắt đầu hội thảo ngày hôm nay thì em xin trân trọng giới thiệu bà Nguyễn Huy Thoa, đại diện cho công ty Tính Nha sẽ có đôi lời phát biểu khai mạc hội thảo ạ. Xin trân trọng kính mời ạ.
Giờ xin chào mừng các bác sĩ đến với hội thảo chuyên đề mô mềm Quanh Implant, và bắt đầu đầu giờ thì cho một tràng pháo tay các bác sĩ đã có mặt ngày hôm nay ạ. Hội thảo này do công ty Bệnh viện Răng Trung ương phối hợp công ty Tính Nha, hãng Implant Megasen và tổ chức giáo dục Minac phối hợp tổ chức. Thì ở đại diện bệnh viện hôm nay có bác sĩ Nguyễn Tấn Hưng, chuyên khoa 2, phó giám đốc trung tâm đào tạo. Và Megasen là implant Hàn Quốc có thị phần lớn nhất tại châu Âu, cho nên là Megasen thường xuyên mời các báo cáo viên từ châu Âu báo cáo, như vừa rồi ở tháng 3 là Dr. Implant từ Hà Lan và hôm nay là Dr. Davide từ Italia. Thì xin giới thiệu một chút xíu về bác sĩ Davide. Bác sĩ Davide là giáo sư tại Đại học Insuria, Italy và sáng lập về tổ chức chuyên gia phối hợp trong viện Implant và báo cáo viên Megasen và các tổ chức Implant trên thế giới. Ngày hôm nay thì sẽ quen thuộc với bác sĩ dịch thuật rất là xuất sắc là bác sĩ Trần Thế Thọ, và xin cho bác sĩ Thọ một tràng pháo tay ạ. Và trước cái bài trình bày của Dr. Davide thì mời bác sĩ Nguyễn Tấn Hưng lên tặng hoa cho Dr. Davide. Hello Davide.
Inviting me. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. Welcome, Davide. So.
Oh no. It's not me speaking. Can I begin?
Tiếp tục là tới phần trình bày của Dr. Davide.
What is he doing?
Mời các bác sĩ mang tai nghe ạ.
I'm very happy to be here. Thank you very much. It's a surprise because it's 10 years that I want to visit Vietnam. Since I met a friend from Australia, who's a very good friend of mine, and told me, oh, Vietnam is amazing. Thank you very much for the invitation, and thank you very much for the flowers. It's not common in Italy to receive a flower as a man. So I feel more than happy about that. This morning we will be talking about little and big things. We will talk about papilla and aesthetic in aesthetic zone, how to be minimally invasive to our patient in order to obtain the maximum of the aesthetic result. And in the second part, we will see how to face distraction of the premaxilla in aesthetic area and reconstruct when anything is in the right position. What I would like any morning is this happens. I arrive in my office and I say hello to my staff and my patients. My patient is not excited, it's just a normal day. I do a little anesthesia. I put in my blood. After 2 minutes, how's your friend? I would like people to have surgeries without painkiller, not to fear about surgery. But unfortunately, not always we can do this. Sometimes we have situations like this one. And if a patient who has this kind of teeth comes to us and say, "Doctor, I have to change these teeth. I have a broken root here. Can you give me 100% chance to be beautiful as I am now after the implant?" This is very dramatic, because when you begin with a perfect aesthetic and you want to keep it or enhance it, that is more difficult. If you fix an ugly smile in something better, it's better. But if you have a beautiful smile, it's difficult to keep its beauty. So anybody who face up these cases will ask himself if there is any rule to follow. So what we will do this morning and the part of this afternoon will be understanding together why do we need tissue around the implant? What kind of tissue? Why those tissues stay there? We will talk about cells like they were individuals, like they can think. Why can I convince the free gingival margin to stay in that position? Or to ask the papilla, please come up a little bit. And then, how can we protect these shapes over time? So this magic goes on year after year. What I am is something hybrid, because I'm a surgeon and a prostodontist. And I will never speak about surgery without prosto. I will never speak about prosto without surgery, because they are interconnected. We know that the patient cares about the smile, and we do too. But what he cares more is the pink aesthetic score. The pink aesthetic scores is what a patient that exposed the gum see and justifies as 80% of the amount of beautifulness of a smile. If the pink is wrong, 70% of the perceived smile beauty is gone. If you think how many books have been written how to manage ceramics, the white, you can create the Empire State Building. If you think how many books has been written to fix tissue around a natural tooth, you can create another Empire State Building. But if you search on the internet, how many books has been written on fixing tissue around implants, you don't reach the height of my son. Very little knowledge. And it's wrong to think that the periodontal around teeth knowledge is the same around implant. Implant and teeth are different. I'm proud to be a writer of one of these books. So, because we don't have book, we look on the internet and we see the literature. And there are a lot of information we can retrieve. Information that affects the maturation of the tissue over time. But this information is difficult to put together because they pertain to different surgical technique, different implant connections, different prosthetic designs. So there's not yet a common rule on implant. Because if you change the implant, if you change the emergence profile, if you change the surgeon, if you change the prosthodontist, or if you change the technician, you will have a different effect. The effect that we can have on implants after substituting a tooth, it can be, have a look here, a positive maturation. Tissue can grow over time. I would like it happens always like this. Or perhaps in this situation we can change the contour. The contour means the shape of the tooth and of the gum. It's called contouring. There is a limit how we can do this. Sometimes, even if we have a recession, we can fix the recession, but we lose the papilla. And the worst that can happen, which by fact is the more common situation, is this one. In the past 30 years, what happened to this, which is called recession, was considered as normal. But now, we have knowledge in order not to have this problem. I don't know what happens in your country, but in my country, if I have a beautiful woman with a beautiful smile, and I have a recession like this in the frontal lateral incisors, she will be very angry with me. She will not accept this. And I think we should not accept this even from our hands. So let's think how is possible to avoid the possibility of recessions and problem in a static area around implants. How's it going with the translation? The rhythm is good? If you want faster, you just give me some chili. If you want slow, you take out your gun. Okay? Let's see, thank to you. Let's see milestones about literature. I will give you very little literature advices because I want to go forward. But I want to point out what biologic width is. My students in the past were always frightened when I was going to ask the biologic width around implant. Because they were absolutely disoriented. From 1990s to 2012, people have been writing 25,000 articles on implants. Between these, only 54 actually describes biologic width. And between these 54, 44 are animal histologies. What means that we can be very good dentists for mini pig and for beagle. But not for humans. Knowledge is very confused. So I give you a different point of view. A simplification. The actors are the epithelium, the connective tissue, and the alveolar bone. The epithelium is like a shock absorber in a car or in a motorbike here. He can take a lot of heat without being harmed. The connective tissue is the finalization of a ceiling. But as many times happens, especially in Italy, when you have public government workers and 5 people have to dig one hole, you can see 4 people that look and tell one how to dig the hole. And at the end, only one is working. The name is epithelium. He does 90% of the work, trying to reduce biochemical problems inside its trajectory. The aim is to give a stable balance from mechanical, bacterial, and chemical harm. Connective tissue. By mistake, in the written book, we read that this is an attachment. By the truth, it's only very intimate contact. The theory of the hemidesmosomes is only an appearance at the microscope. Because clinically, if you try to disconnect the connective tissue, there's no connection. It do not break, it just detach. If you take a probe and you push, you arrive to the bone. The connective tissue is passive. and finalizes the sealing. If any one of you has questions, later on I have a lot of presentation to demonstrate this. I also made some publications. But its width is very constant. The epithelium, the width, is very variable. The less it has to protect, the less it is. If you harm this tissue, the epithelium will grow down, and the connective and the bone will go down. But at the end, the rule of the epithelium and connective tissue is to protect the bone from a mechanical point of view, bacterial point of view, and chemical point of view. Albertson, in '86, was saying that it was normal to lose 1.5 millimeter around implants and to have tissue recession either. Tarnow says that papilla can be full between two implants only if the distance between the interproximal contact point and the interproximal bone peak is less than 5 millimeter. You give only 1 more millimeter, you drop at half the percentage to have a full papilla. And if you rise 1 millimeter more, less than 30% of papilla will be present. This is a dramatic point, referment point. And the more next to each other the implants are, the more narrow is the distance, the worse this is. Because the bone resorption will addict one to each other, will converge. And the bone peak goes down. And in a certain part of the history, it was considered the papilla between implants was impossible. Then it came Buser, who was a genius. Because first time in 2004, began saying that the implant positioning has an implant rule. He defines the comfort zone. But the problem is that this implant positioning guidance, which nowadays are followed by 90% of the people in the world, they do not derive from an experimentation. He measured nothing. He made no statistics. This is a proof of principle article. You wake up one morning and tell, you have to do like this. Why? Because I say it. Due to the age, this is normal in 2004. But now we have to go forward. Cochrane tried to place together all the consensus, and they stated when there is not a oral hygiene which is correct, when the connection is not efficient, and again, first time that comes out, it's in '97. They are talking about efficient connection. And prosthetic design, very new at that time. And site morphology. When those 4 points are not ideal, even if they didn't define what ideal is, something breaks in the equilibrium of the biologic width. So what happens? The epithelium goes down. apically. And the connective tissue and the bone goes far away. Tarno. But at this moment, nobody sees nothing. You can only see with the radiograph. The tissue is still there. But after some years, a second problem occurs. These cells are fed by supercrestal arteries. If you reduce the blood supply to a group of cells, the group of cells reduces itself in number and volume. So the arteries goes far away. And you are missing the periodontal ligament artery. So you will have a drop of the blood supply. As a consequence, this tissue will become unstable and you will have recession. It's like taking an employer and giving half the price. He will work less than half. I will show you a lot of mistakes because I learned a lot from mistakes. Did you catch this point? Are you with me? Is it Arab? You okay? Say yes with the head. I removed in a very simple way, in a not traumatic way, this tooth. There was an infrabony pocket, which is not a problem because it's totally contained inside the bone. I place a wide rescue implant, immediate loading with immediate final abutment positioning. The relining is part inside the mouth, part outside the mouth, trying to be as precise as possible. At that time I was doing shoulder preparations. Nowadays I do no more shoulders. A very little amount of cement just to seal. And this is after 1 year. Around the world, most of the prosthodontics on implant are screw retained. In Italy, due to aesthetics and